Good blessed Sunday night, May the 1st, 2022. It's about 8:44 p.m. I greet all human beings all around the world with the universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor your religious beliefs may be. It doesn't matter whether you're the richest or the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't even matter whether you're the proclaimed toughest or the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't even matter if you're my family, friends, nor my proclaimed enemies. It doesn't matter whether you like me, like my YouTube channel, like anything I say, the manner I say it, or whether or not that you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I greet all of this here because I don't do this here for thumbs up and thumbs down. I don't do it for likes and dislikes. I do it to uplift fallen humanity. I do it to educate those that don't see both sides of stories when it comes to especially the black community. But I do it for any community where there's injustice, where there's racism, where there's corruption. Now, what I want to talk about tonight is to show y'all, and I want you to do your research to show y'all how the NAACP president and members, and if you're not part of the members that conspired with what I'm about to say, then it's not talking about you. But 99% of y'all it is. Because I don't even know one NAACP member in Carbondale, Illinois that spoke up about my son's death. But I want to show you how the NAACP president conspired with the city of Carbondale, the city of Carbondale Police Department, the county of Jackson County, Illinois prosecuting attorney's office to make sure my son's death was ruled a suicide. Now, this man here is Derrick Johnson. He's the national president of the NAACP. I'm going to get back with him in a minute. Now, when my son was found hung on March the 19th, 2021 in Carbondale, Illinois on a Friday, I wasn't notified until March the 23rd, 2021, and me and my two youngest daughters from Charleston, Missouri, we drove up to Carbondale, Illinois. My son's mother and her second oldest son drove from Chicago to Carbondale, Illinois, where we met with an individual that claimed to be the deputy coroner. He didn't have no cards. He didn't show me no IDs. And when you do the research on him, his name is Sam, common spelling, S-A-M, Brian. But the last name is spelled the same as my son's first name, B-R-Y-A-N. I met with him in a investigating lieutenant from the Carbondale, Illinois Police Department named Matthews Dunnings, D-U-N-N-I-N-G. They said that they was looking into my son's death. But I want to show you the conspiracy as time went on, as I've been doing my investigation for the last going on 14 months. I learned that the NAACP president, Linda Flowers, another thing, SIU is tied with the NAACP president with the city of Carbondale and with the prosecuting attorney. It was SIU students that found my son's body hanging. Now, what I want to show y'all the big conspiracy. Linda Flowers, after I spoke with the investigating lieutenant from Carbondale, Illinois, police department, and the so-called allegedly the deputy coroner Sam Bryan, which when you Google it up, Jackson County, Illinois, deputy coroner Sam Bryan, I guarantee you, unless it just was put in there today, as I speak, you're not going to find it nowhere. But anyway, I'm going to show you the connection now. Linda Flowers, I talked to her on the same day that I came down. I ran into one of their deacons. I believe his name is James Harvey. He's a deacon for the Rock Hill Missionary Baptist Church, where the NAACP in Carbondale, Illinois headquarters is. That's another means for the NAACP to get money from their members, paying rent, I believe, in the basement of their church, Rock Hill Church, Missionary Baptist Church, where I forgot his first name, but I think his last name is Logwood. He's a preacher. He's the former NAACP president. And so also one of their other members is a city council lady, Carolyn Harvey, and I think her husband, I don't know if it's Carl, but whoever it is, I think his name is Carl Harvey. It may not be Carl, but her husband, I believe, been working for the city of Carbondale for 30-something years. Now, keep that in mind now. If your memory is short, jot it down, because I'm finna show you the conspiracy. See, I didn't know all this at first, because when a friend of mine that grew up in Cabrini Green with me, seen my YouTube videos speaking about my son's lynching there, and she told me the history of Carbondale with these type of cases and trying to cover it up, especially when it came to blacks. She told me to get in contact with this guy Logwood. God led me in the area where she told me the church was, but the church wasn't open. But here was a little short black man. I asked him, did he know the NAACP president Logwood that goes to this church? He said, he's not the president anymore, but he said, I'm Deacon Harvey. You see what I'm saying? Deacon Harvey opened the church up for me, took me in there, and we called Logwood first. And I had it on speaker, and he was listening the way Logwood was talking to me about my son's death. And we seen we wasn't going to get no place with him. So I terminated the phone call, and he had me to call Linda Flowers, which is the president of the NAACP, a graduate, I believe, from SIU. From Chicago now. They got a lot of people from Chicago that grouped up with the city of Carbondale, with SIU, and selling out the black communities, helping cover up deaths like my son's, making a homicide into a suicide. But I talked to Linda Flowers and told her the situation. I told her they trying to say my son's death was a suicide, because the deputy guy that called himself the deputy coroner and the investigating lieutenant, commanding lieutenant for the Carbondale Police Department, they told me that the deputy coroner told me, and the commanding lieutenant concurred with him. They said it's either one or two things with my son's death. Hadn't no autopsy been done, had no toxicology tests came back. They told me that when if the toxicology tests come back saying that my son had drugs in his system, that his death would be ruled now. His death would be ruled. This is on the 24th, 5 days after my son's death. He said it would be ruled suicide contributing to drugs. He said if there's no drugs in his system, it would be suicide contribute to mental health. Now this without even a autopsy. Didn't even plan on doing an autopsy. If you look in the so-called death, and wasn't even gonna do a death investigation. They was just trying to conclude that it was suicide, period. If you look when Sam Bryan was called on the scene on March the 19th, one of the police officers said he was dispatched to 400 North Oakland Street in Carbondale, Illinois for a attempted suicide. Now, they done determined suicide already. Then, when they get there, the coroner speaks about what the police told them concerning he committed suicide. But now, let's get back to Linda Flowers. When I talked to her on the 24th, 5 days afterwards, just before I knew she had any connection or anybody from her church or the NAACP had any connection with the city of Carbondale, in the city of Carbondale Police Department. Linda Flowers, I found out later, I gave her the information. And I asked her with the NAACP, help me and my family look into my son's death because it looked too suspicious. The first thing she did, instead of calling the national chapter. Now, if it was what like Derek Johnson said, that they don't get involved, Linda Flowers being the president, a SIU graduate, I would think that she would have told me, we don't get involved with that. But they got involved with it. Not only her, they chief or they CEO and chairperson on the of the criminal department, Nancy Maxwell, even gave me this complaint form. So Derek was just saying something to help to cover up the city, and I'm going to tell you why. When he was invited to come speak at SIU on April 11, 2022, let me tell you some of the sponsors, who the sponsors was. Linda Flowers in the NAACP chapter of Carbondale. The city of Carbondale, Illinois was one of the sponsors. And one of the individuals that was a classmate of Derek Johnson, who has a high-ranking position with SIU, is one of the ones that helped him get down there. You can believe he got paid to come down there. His salary as the national chapter president has got to be probably way over $300,000, because a few years ago it was $200,000 with the previous president. So we know it's close to $300,000. But let me show you the conspiracy now. I don't want y'all to think that I'm getting off of it. I just want to try to give you some input now. I called Linda on the 24th. I'm thinking that she finna get involved. You know who the first person that she called? And maybe the only person, besides the other conspirators within her NAACP chapter in Carbondale, Illinois? She called the police of Carbondale. You know how I know? Because it wasn't long after I talked to her and I got back down to Charleston, Missouri, after I did all of the little research I did on the 24th of March 2021, that the Lieutenant Matt Dunning called me and told me that his captain called him and said somebody from the NAACP said one of my family members called them and said that we don't believe my son committed suicide. Now, what did she call them for? And I'm going to tell you why she called them. I did some research. Stan Reno is the chief of police in Carbondale, Illinois. He know my son, and all the rest of them know him real well. You see, because they was paying him as being an informant, having them wired up, setting up drug dealers. You see, me and my two daughters met Stan Reno on, I believe, April the 14th, 2021, after we came back from burying my son in Chicago on April the 9th. We came back on the 14th of April, and we stopped and met him in person. And he told me and my two daughters to our face, he told us that my son Brian had a lot of demons in him. But let me tell you who helped to select him as the, because he was the intern, because they was getting rid of another crooked, racist, corrupted chief of police, and they had him as the intern, but it was a select committee, and guess who was on that select committee? None other than Linda Flowers, that helped voted him in as the chief of police last year in 2021, around April or May of 2021. But let me tell you another position that Linda Flowers had, and I just found that out, I believe, on Tuesday, April the 26th, 2022, when I was listening to the Carbondale, Illinois City Council meeting on live screen. Sometime me and my daughters and them go up there. But then they was talking about something that reached at my memory and gave me something to really think about. It was two things. It was one brother asked them, asked the mayor and the city council, do the city of Carbondale have informants on their payroll? And the mayor said, or the city manager said no. And they said that they asked Chief Reno, and Chief Reno shook his head saying no. But yet on March the 18th, 2021, about 7:04 p.m. in Carbondale, Illinois, from the University Mall, my son, 24 hours before his death, his lynching, he called 911 to Carbondale, Illinois, and let me tell you what he asked the dispatcher. Am I still on y'all of the Carbondale police payroll? We gonna get back to that. That show you he must have been on their payroll, and what the city manager said that they don't pay their informants, we see that's a lie, because the 911 call will show you that. But it's something else that grabbed my attention at that city council meeting on April the 26th, 2022 for the Carbondale, Illinois City Council. When they were saying that they was reappointing to certain people to certain positions, they had reappointed somebody, and I'm assuming that it's a 3-year appointment. They reappointed somebody to the City and Fire Commission for the city of Carbondale, Illinois. And guess who that person was? I know it don't take a rocket science. Linda Flowers. So if she was reappointed, and it's a 3-year, and her term this time expires in May the 1st, 2025. That means she was appointed May the 1st, 2019. So she was on that city and Fire Commission who investigate for the police things like my son's death. You remember she was on the selecting committee that selected the police chief. Now, they overlooked all these black police chiefs. They overlooked that. But let me show you this here. Now, if she on that select committee that put the chief in, and she's just been reappointed to the Fire and Police Commission, we see now, y'all see what this is? This is a complaint form for the Carbondale, Illinois NAACP. You see who filed it? That's page 1. That's page 2. That's page 3. That's page 4. You see when it was filed? May 11, 2021. It wasn't filed by mail. Guess how it was filed? To keep my tracks, it was filed by email. Now, it took almost over 30 days for them to give me a response. I sent an email asking, did y'all receive my complaint? I sent it to Linda Flowers' personal email, to the Carbondale email. If you look at any of their phone numbers, ain't none of them good. I don't know what they doing with the dues money. But I sent it to her email, to the Carbondale, Illinois chapter email, and I sent it to their a chairperson for the criminal department of the NAACP, Nancy Maxwell. Sent it to her personal email, and to Linda Flowers' personal email, and Nancy Maxwell would tell y'all that she's a former police officer, y'all. She told me from Chicago. I did a little research, but I think she might have worked in the Cook County Jail. But some people said she might have been a police in Mounds, Illinois. But she's a former police officer and got this position as the chairperson of the criminal department. If she felt that they don't get involved in this like Derek Johnson said on April 11, 2022, the local chapter don't get involved in it, why did the president get involved with it, Linda Flowers? Why did the chairperson for the criminal department give me this here form to fill out? But let me tell y'all something. They haven't yet, back in June of last year, 2021, after me and another NAACP member from Carbondale who don't even really associate with the chapter in Carbondale because he know that they're not doing nothing, a graduate of SIU too, but he a stand-up brother. He ain't a sellout. He stand up for what's right. Both of us emailed them and asked, can I get a response to this here to let me know if they received it, a confirmation email, which any legitimate people would have done. And would you tell me the status of this complaint? Any legitimate person would have done. See, Linda immediately called the police department the same day that I told her about this, but it took her 30 days because she know it's a paper trail. And she told me it's on hold pending the investigation. The police department finished their investigation sometime in August of 2021. The pathologist completed hers June, I believe, the 16th of 2021. The actual coroner, Thomas William Coverup, finished his investigation on June the 23rd of 2021, and the prosecuting attorney completed his investigation on September the 23rd, 2021, and the Illinois State Police, who is the only one that did a legitimate investigation, completed theirs October of 2021, but yet they still ain't told me anything. You know why? Because they ain't looking into this here. You see what I'm saying? And you can see why they ain't looking into it, because they working hand in hand with the city. Why don't y'all think that blacks can't get any justice with the city of Carbondale, Illinois Police Department and the prosecuting attorney? Because Derrick Johnson, the head of the NAACP, I'd be better off joining the Ku Klux Klan. I'm willing to bet that they would help me better than Derrick Johnson, Linda Flowers, Nancy Maxwell, and these other 2 million plus NAACP members. We don't have no help from the local chapter here in Charleston, Missouri, not none. Me and my 2 youngest daughters, 15 and 16, is the only active NAACP members here in Charleston, Missouri, as far as standing up against the corrupted judges, corrupted prosecuting attorneys, corrupted police, corrupted sheriff, corrupted city hall members. Anybody that any entity that I'm speaking about, if you ain't corrupted, don't let it bother you. You see what I'm saying? And me and my daughters, 2 daughters, and the 1 brother from the NAACP, and some other people, black and white, in Carbondale, Illinois, in other places around the globe, is the only ones trying to get justice for my son. I know me and my family. I can't speak about nobody else. I'm talking about me and my family, my children, my grandchildren, my family and my friends. I know we standing on this here. I can't speak of none of my other sons' family. But my side of the family, I know what we doing. You see what I'm saying? But I just want to say this here. I need y'all help to expose Derrick Johnson, to expose Linda Flowers, Nancy Maxwell, in that Rock Hill Missionary Baptist Church in Carbondale, Illinois. It's a headquarters that blacks think that they can go to for the NAACP to help them. But when you tell them about anything concerning the city of Carbondale, Illinois, or SIU, Southern Illinois College, in Carbondale, Illinois, or Jackson County Prosecuting Attorney, you are going just like if the Ku Klux Klan did something to you, you going to the Grand Wizard about something that ain't gonna do nothing about. Linda Flowers is a disgrace. Her church is a disgrace. Every member that's falling behind her and Derrick Johnson is a disgrace to the national chapter of the advancement, for the national chapter of for the Association for the Advancement of Colored People. They are a disgrace to this here. How could you tell me that y'all don't do this locally and you did it in Mississippi, Derrick Johnson? The record show. How you tell me you don't get involved? My son was hung, hand cut, 3 ribs broke. Nose, you could see, I didn't put the picture up because it's too graphic. Nose smashed all the way in onto that bar. Blood in his beard. Scrapes on his side. 3 ribs fractured. One of his pockets, when he hanging, is out like this. Money balled up in his hand, in a position that ain't no human being could actually hang theyself and purposely hang theyself the way he was. Y'all a disgrace. I pray to God, Derrick Johnson, Linda Flowers, Nancy Maxwell, and you other millions of NAACP members, I hope and pray that God don't put one of y'all children in that position. But I pray to God that God give y'all a lesson, give y'all a whooping like he did Pharaoh, like he did Goliath, because y'all is misrepresenting a civil rights organization. Y'all got Thurgood Marshall, Rosa Parks, Ida B. Wells, and a whole bunch of other people turning over in their graves because y'all misrepresenting. Y'all misrepresenting. Y'all asking why they ain't at least told me that they done completed their investigation and they don't find nothing wrong. You know why? Because they ain't did no damn investigation. And those of y'all that said that I need to tone my voice down, with all due respect, you know, they told Martin Luther King when he knew that the courts and the police and the law enforcement was defiling Supreme Court orders, the Constitution, and they told him to cool down. Let me tell you what Martin Luther King told them. He said, we done cooled down too long. If we cool down any longer, we'll be in a deep freeze. What is a deep freeze? If I wouldn't keep on complaining, if I wouldn't keep on raising my voice, this would be turned over. He wouldn't have been set out. This wouldn't have been thought of. Those of you that tell me to tone my voice down, you stop looking at my videos, because I'm not toning a damn thing down. You said that I'm always coming aggressive on my videos. I done came meek long enough. Do you understand that? Let me hang your damn son and put him in the position that my son was in. And let's see how meek you would talk. Peace be to you.